Hi, I'm Courtney Graham of former Mrs. Colorado 2012, and it's my privilege to interview a current contestant in the Mrs. Colorado pageant, which will be held on July 11th in downtown Denver, Colorado. We thought this would be a fun way for you to get to know the ladies participating, so let's get started. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Why don't we kick off this interview by you just telling us your name and the city that you represent for the 2020 pageant?
Okay. Um, Hello, everyone. Danielle Holiday. I am 2020 Mrs. Mile High City.
Awesome. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So a little bit about myself. I'm a wife. I'm a bonus mom. I like to say bonus mom. To 4 beautiful children. I am a bonus grandma as well. Yeah, to 3 little ones. I'm a businesswoman, a community activist, and I just truly enjoy my little 2 fur babies that we have constantly running around our house.
Wow, well, it sounds like you certainly have a busy life.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us, with everything going on, what has motivated you to compete in this pageant?
Well, so this is my 3rd year that I will step on the Mrs. Colorado stage. And so there's the motivation to just come back and be better, a better self every year. And my journey through the pageant has really taught me about myself and who I am, my story. And I don't think without the pageant I would really understand my story, to be frank with you, Courtney. Um, about 3 years ago now, I had finished my last surgeries. I've had 11 surgeries in 13 years. Growing up a gymnast, it was just really hard on my body. And so I just remember it. I was sitting on my couch and not much could motivate me at that time. Coming off of surgeries are pretty hard, especially back to back like that. And I knew I needed something in my life to get me motivated. And I was flipping through Instagram and Valerie's crowning in 2017, scrolled right through, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, that's exactly what I need in my life. That's what I want, to get back, just my competitive spirit, and back into a routine of who I can say is Dani Holiday. So I joined the pageant, and through the past couple of years, I've found my story of being able to talk to other people about opioid addiction. When I was down, I didn't realize that I was addicted. It was easy to pop those pills and feel like you were living a true life. And you look back now, or I look back now, and that life was kind of a false reality. And so through the pageant, through a lot of journaling and self-reflection, I was able to come into that story. And as people asked why I did the pageant, that story just kept coming up more and more. And it really helped other people to say, I've had that, I've been there, or I know someone that is also in those shoes, and they don't realize it, because when you're in it, you just don't know.
Right.
And so, yeah, that story has helped me come back year after year, so 3 years now,
Awesome.
because it's evolving. It does. Every time you talk to someone, you get a new story and you get a new lesson.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being vulnerable enough to share your story. I really appreciate that, and I'm sure that our listeners will appreciate that as well. If you had to sum up one life lesson that you want others to learn from your journey, what would that be?
I think my life lesson is to surround yourself with the right people. And when I say that, you have to look at the people that continue to stick around you no matter the highs and the lows. What I realized going through an addiction is that there are many highs and there are many lows. And the people that are constantly there are the ones that are trying to help you work through all of those mountains, to say the least.
Yeah.
And so looking to them and understanding, realizing that they're there because they love you and they want you to be the best you, is exactly why they stick around, because you can push hard, but they love you and they stick around. And so truly finding your tribe to get through those moments is what, you know, your eyes will eventually become open to it. It's hard and you have to find it in your own time,
Yeah.
but being open to knowing that they are there for you for the better.
That's awesome. You said a buzzword for me, which was find your tribe. And I just believe so strongly in that, especially, just being a female. And I think other women supporting other women in particular is just an incredible source of power. So that's awesome.
Right.
Thank you for sharing that story. If you were crowned in July, what would your reign look like?
Oh, well, of course, it's something that you always think about, right? You envision that moment that you're crowned, and what do you want to accomplish with that year? Because you only get to be Mrs. Colorado once, so take advantage of it. And first of all, I want to embrace every single moment that you hold that title.
Mhm.
But when I think about my reign, there's two platforms, I guess you could say, that I really want to focus on. And one is something that I've been through in my life, and then the other one is something that I'm currently going through in my life. And so we just talked a lot about opioid addiction, and so that would be the platform that's been through my life, and I've come out on the other side of it.
Yep.
So focusing in the community on opioid addiction. But then the other platform, in addition to opioids, is something I'm currently going through, and that's infertility with my husband and I. And so we've been going through an IVF journey for the past about 2 to 3 years. And it's something that I feel strongly about speaking to, because infertility does not discriminate. And it is something that 1 in 8 women or couples, 1 in 8 couples go through. And so it's something that I feel passionate enough to speak on. And it is a hard topic to speak on. So
Absolutely.
raising awareness and just, being a shoulder for somebody to talk to and cry on, or hug it out if you're going through it as well. Mrs. Colorado is all about the married woman, and if a family is something that marriage entails, and you might be going through it in a difficult way, I want to raise awareness.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
terrific. Thank you. When you think about all the people that have influenced you in your life, who do you admire most and why?
I would have to say my late grandmother. I call her Nani. So my Nani was a very, very strong woman. My grandfather passed away the October before I was born, and so the only way I ever knew my grandma was an individual woman,
Mhm.
and that's truly what she was. And I think that has made me a strong individual woman, and it's something that I pass down to my daughters every day. I want them to know that no matter what happens in life, you can always stand on your own 2 feet. And my grandmother showed that to me every single day, because she just lived down the road. She was my babysitter growing up. And she was always just my best friend. And so that's something that I learned from her, and I hope to pass on to my next generation.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yeah, grandmothers are such a special gift.
They
Um,
are.
how many years have you been participating in the Mrs. Colorado pageant?
This is my 3rd year. So my
Okay,
first year
third
was in
charm.
2000. Third time's a charm. Yes.
Yeah, third time is a charm. It happens so it happens for so many of us the third time, myself included. So keep going. I'm glad to see you back. Besides the crown, what are you hoping to gain from participating in this pageant?
Well, I would say what I've already gained is talking about tribe, a bigger tribe, right? And
Yes.
so there's so many women that you meet year over year through the pageant system that I don't think I would have ever had the opportunity of meeting before. I always say, as an adult, it's hard to make friends. We all go our separate ways and have our own families and lives, so it's a little harder to make friends. So with the pageant, I've gotten to develop some very, very strong relationships.
Mhm.
And um, I think what I've seen from previous queens is the even stronger bond that happens once you are honored into that sisterhood. And so, in addition to giving back to the community and having an amazing reign, I look forward to a bigger tribe of amazing women.
Yeah. I mean, and I have to say, as a former Mrs. Colorado, that was something that was really attractive to me as well. And I have met some of my best friends through the pageant system and through the sisterhood. And, it's really interesting because sometimes we don't see each other, and except for maybe a couple times a year, because as you mentioned, we are all so busy. A lot of us work, a lot of us are moms. Obviously, we're all married. Well, not, you don't have to be married afterwards, just during competing. but a lot of us are married and have families. And so, but even though we may only see each other a couple times, that connection is so awesome. And it truly is women empowerment.
Right.
So that's so great to hear you say. This next question is just kind of a fun one. What was your favorite toy growing up?
Well, being a gymnast, I lived on the trampoline. My parents had one in our backyard, and I would come home from gym practice and I would live on that trampoline. I would be on the trampoline in the gymnastics gym. I don't know, it was just the amazing feeling you got being in the air and doing flips and twists and turns every which way. So we still go to like the jump streets of,
Huh?
in Parker, and you can frequently find me still jumping on the trampoline. So it's a childhood toy that I definitely carried into my adulthood.
That's so fun. That's so fun. We are kind of ending on our time together. What's one last thing you'd like to share about yourself today?
I would say, one of the life mottos that I live by is if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And I truly believe in being challenged every day. And if you allow yourself to work through those challenges, you're always going to keep growing and become a better and eventually different person, for the good, hopefully.
Yeah.
But that's just my life motto. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
Awesome. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for meeting with me today, and thank you for taking the time to have this conversation. I wish you the best of luck. I'm so thrilled that you're coming back, and I
Thank
can't wait to
you.
see you on that stage in July.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.